Well, howdy there, my super robot fans. I hope you're all doing well this evening. We're going to be playing some more Alpha today. My name's Austin. Welcome back to the archives. I'm kind of hoping this one's going to be on the shorter side, just like last mission was. I got a lot more stuff I gotta get done today. Not the least of which is getting us to the point where we have access to like full equipment again, but with the assist pilot to give us seals for free in Y. We've been talking about trying to like figure out max damage for that, and I still need to get that done before stream starts. Well, that's a problem for future Austin. For now, we have to deal with the problem of the SRX project maybe being a little bit unscrupulous. Unscrupulous, I say. Okay. I did not expect Aya's father to be so villain-coded. I thought we were going to get a little more subtlety out of him, but no, he's super villain-coded. Okay. So this is Aya. I think we've read her to her once before, but she is part of the SRX project. She is the leader of the SRX team, of Ryuji, not Ryuji, Ryusei, and Rai, and she's here in this moment to largely sort of like thief in the corner of a D&D tavern, extol about her woes. I don't think she's that brooding or dramatic, but like she needs to find like her value in this world on the battlefield, and she's doing it to avenge her sister and her mother who have died, presumably in testing the same robot that she is going to be piloting. I don't know very much about her. I think I just got up to her in OG, so like she is largely fresh to me. I recognize these two faces. Like I recognize who she is. I just don't like know a lot about her, you know. In the meantime, all of our OC characters are getting some upgrades. The R1 and R2 are going to be the powered forms, while the Grungust, as far as my translation is concerned, is going to get something called the Keito Shungoken, which feels like in the naming conventions of how the Grungust works. It feels like very like East Asian martial arts kind of language. I don't know if that's true, but it sounds like the sort of thing like he would like throw a punch with. I'm curious to look it up afterwards. Maybe I'll like put it on screen here, or maybe we'll just talk about it like the next. Nah, we'll talk about it like next episode if I find out what it's called. We'll find out what it is. So the team runs into Aya's dad, and they're like, "Oh, where is she? Is she supposed to be here? That she's supposed to be coming with Banjo?" And that she in fact is on his way with her. She is on his way with him. Gracious pronouns are hard. Then while he's here, he's also meeting Ingram, where we get a little bit of a confession to the camera, because none of the main characters are around to hear it. That at the very least, they sound like they're up to something here. He first, I said I never called him by name yet. Kobayashi. Kobayashi is Aya's father. He extols the prowess of Ingram, both for raising his own psychic powers, but also refining the main characters. Then, I don't know if this is one of the main characters that I'm just forgetting, but Ingram says that he did break some bones getting Ari into that machine. Ari? Is this supposed to be Aya? I don't remember someone being named Ari. Is that our dead girlfriend? Maybe? But the tonality of it is definitely one of like mad scientists, because they do conclude their conversation saying like, oh man, wow, it'd be really cool if humans could like develop faster. And they're like, what if we force them to? What's the best way to hone their skills? Put them into more danger. Let's force them to experience trauma in order to grow them more. So maybe we are going to be closer to Shinji than I thought we were going to be, but just not that we're going to like lighten Shinji's character, that we need to dirty all these guys up. But that is then in direct contrast with this like cute with the meet cute between the boys. They run into Masaki, who was like wandering around the halls, presumably lost, and they're like, "So, bud, you want to tell us anything about yourself now?" And he's like, "No, I don't think I will, actually. Thanks." Just that, like, don't trust Shu. Definitely don't trust Ingram. My spidey senses, my psychic senses are tingling, and things aren't looking good. Ryusei's like, no, that can't be. He's my boss. He must be a great guy. And Saki's like, yeah, I would really like to be wrong about this one, but I don't know. Just be careful, guys. Please be careful. Something's not right. Turns out Ingram booked just so many meetings today. This man is named Kirk, and he is calling from the Far East base to let Ingram know that some units have been stolen. The red unit and the second unit, I think, you can tell by the fact that they're not like springing to mind immediately that I don't know if I know what they are. Oh no, sorry, no. Okay, I don't know specifically, but they do the notes do mention the H series, so presumably the Huckebeins. So I'm excited to see those. I think they're like a little generic on the whole of units, but we haven't seen them here yet, so I'm curious to see how they manifest. That little convo between Ingram and Rai was Ingram figures that he can sort of take out two birds with one stone here. That first he can sort of get the team up to his testing expectations with the conversation you just had with Kobayashi, and then also sort of patrol for the Huckebeins, because he figures that they're going to be coming after him. Kirk sort of gave him a nod that he should expect some incoming company, which Rai does clock in how Ingram says they should like go on patrol. That it sounds like he's expecting to encounter enemies because he sort of gives them permission to fire on any enemies. That's like up to their discretion when enemies show up to fire on them. And Rai's like, that's a weird way to tell us to go on patrol. That sounds like, is there an attack? And Ingram just sort of like shuffles them out the door. The team like roughly talk about their upgrades. That Rai's got like new cannons and new does he have a tronium? No. The tronium engine is on the R1. The Grungust has some new weapons. They didn't say what those were. I'm curious to look at those. But Ryusei does get perhaps the coolest part of this, which is a new sword, the Heaven and Earth Psychic Crusher Sword, or Tenjo Tenge Nendo Hasaigen, which is definitely a mouthful. I'll do my best. But yeah, so as predicted, the Huckebeins have shown up. One with in it, and one with our significant other. Oh gosh golly, she's not dead. What a big surprise. Oh my word. I can't believe it. Was I convincing enough? Yeah, so the two of them are here because they know that Ingram's no good. They know that he is like pulling strings on the SRX project to not only abuse its participants, like it's going to be bad news for us as people, but also like he definitely has more devilish plans. There is a man that is going unnamed. I'm assuming probably Bien, who treated like a sample is the word he used. So I imagine he was I guess he was part of the SRX project or one of the earlier projects, maybe the PTX projects. And he knows what's going to happen with this if it continues. So he says he's going for the Grungust that our SO, what did we name her? Kuzu. Oh, it was Mizuha Kuzuha. Yeah, that she should stay away from the Grungust. I don't think either of the two of them know who are in these. Like, I don't think she knows that I'm in the Grungust. That Brooklyn's in the Grungust. So I think we're gonna have that sort of like on the battlefield kind of drama. But curious that they're the only two ones on the battlefield, because our expert points for this map, or not, are to not shoot down or shoot down our SO. So I'm wondering what's going to happen, or is it just going to be like us needing to block the whole time? So we're gonna definitely go grab some terrain and call it a day. But yeah, let's look at our upgrades and see if I like actually can tell the difference. This is definitely a downside in how we're doing things, is that like I don't necessarily know when we're going to get changes, so I can't like look beforehand and then like clock it and then come back to it afterwards, right? We definitely have some more weapons. Okay, cool. This is the new one, right? I think we only had these three at first. Now we have this attack and this attack. Yeah, okay. Cool, we'll check out what those are. Do you have anything else? And I know this is the R2 powered. I mean, the shoulder cannons are definitely for sure new. I'm pretty sure it had an eye field before. Maybe it did. Maybe that's an upgrade. I do know that the R1 now has a psychic barrier also, because they do they do comment on the R1 becoming like a full psychic unit now, as opposed to one that was just sort of like lightly dipping into it. Oh, I guess we didn't like actually for sure for realsies know that Rai had a T-Link yet, but he does send something in his hand. I don't know how the T-Links work. Are they like psychic gloves maybe? But he does send something in his hand when at the same time as Brooklyn like clocking that these two are here. So maybe Brooklyn senses Kuzuha and Rai is sensing Huckebein. Okay. Yes, we do in fact have a psychic barrier now. And oh, we have a lot more attacks. Okay, cool. Yeah, here's the Heaven and Earth Sword, which also does hit in the air, which was like definitely a really big downside of being in mobile suit form. But nothing different in the mobile arm, in the jet form, which does not surprise me. I would have been surprised, like it would have shocked me had we gotten the sword or like any other weapons in that form. Okay, welcome back, welcome everybody. So I have already played this scenario a one of times, but I think we're gonna need to make an update. So the translation I am reading has not shied away from giving me mechanical advice internal to the guide. Actually, sorry, first, we need to talk about this playthrough. Rai sensors tell him that the enemies have like their targets, their weapons locked, and Brooklyn kind of freaks out a little bit because like it's his girlfriend in there. So I guess we do know that who these pilots are, and the other two seem to like vaguely know who is based on this translation, which we're gonna get to in a second. So I guess I was incorrect before to say that they were unsure. Though I guess I'm not sure if these two know who we are yet. But we certainly seem to, and we need to do something. Like we're trying to figure out what to do about that, because like obviously Brooklyn, who thought he lost his partner, does not want to be the one responsible for making him lose his partner, you know? Situation's not looking good for him. He's had a rough time. But yeah, so the translation that I had been using has not shied away from the fact that it wants to try and give mechanical advice. Unfortunately, though, that mechanical advice is just like sometimes woefully incorrect. I don't need to be steered into the right choices, but like I can't ignore the fact that sometimes I'm told things that I would otherwise not have liked to have known. And it's like, well, I can't not act on that now that's like in my head. But in so doing, it's also like just not true. And I would have done something different had I not known that, had I not been biased towards it, you know? So I think it's time to change translations. You're going to see here in a minute also that we're going to get a couple different like bits of dialogue through these fights, right? So like we're going to wait, we don't have a bullseye on Brooklyn yet. Maybe ever. But let's do this. Let's show off what the Huckebeins look like. Oh, our first fight. The only thing that I got out of this is that Kuzuha says she does not know who we are. I don't know if it's that she's like actively trying to push us away to like square herself with the mission. Obviously, it's not to keep us safe, because the plan is to destroy all the robots, which presumably will get us to. If she genuinely doesn't remember who we are because she has amnesia, because like she was in a plane crash, right? A plane crashed into her, theoretically, is how it was worded. Or maybe she's like a clone or something, so like this version doesn't actually know us. There are options. But, like, that's me interpreting. The text just says, the translation I have just says that she doesn't know who we are. And like there was a lot of text there, and I'm kind of if we're gonna do story, I'm kind of sad we missed it. Yeah, so I do think we want to make a change. I would like to. I don't know what that will be. I don't know if there is a better one. Maybe we are going to be like this is what we're going to be working with for a while, but we'll see. We'll know next mission. Or actually, it could be quite possibly it is quite possible that you will know this episode because I think this mission is going to be really rather short. So we might staple this onto something else. You're going to block that. Let's take a look at the Huckebein. Is this the EX? I think it's the EX. Yeah, but like none of that got translated for me, and like that feels like pretty like beefy dialogue. I would like to know that. I just like need to trust my instincts more and just like pivot when I think things are not working. Apologies if this is a repeat, but I'm pretty sure we did this in mission, the like previous recording. So I guess have it again or have it for the first time. I have never been the biggest fan of the Huckebein design. Also, apologies if I'm saying it wrong. I don't know. I don't know if it's Huckebein, Huckebein, Huckebein. My pronunciation guide is not strong on this one. Oh, actually here. So second time we are in combat with Kuzu with Kuzuha or our SO. Was that or no? Was it after Ryusei? I think this was after Ryusei. If so, I also don't have that. Yeah, it was after Ryusei. Okay. If so, I also don't have that translated. But then we'll get to the second. We'll get to the second combo in a minute. I don't remember what I was saying before. Oh, about the Huckebein design. I do think it works really well in this art style. I could see why they made it this way. Like, I think this suits pixel art really, really nicely. I just don't think it necessarily looks, and is not translated necessarily the best to more modern pixel, to more modern art. Does everyone always face to the right, or is this just an admission that we're going to get them later? I don't remember now. I don't remember I've got to turn the sprites for enemies. That's curious. We'll look at that afterwards, I guess. Or like, yeah, I'll see if I can look at that during an intermission. Okay, we need to have we need to fight her at least one more time. This time Brooklyn's like, well, you know, I kind of would not like to kill you for pretty obvious reasons. So if you're going to pretend not to know me, then can we find a way to just like resolve this peacefully? Because I still sure as heck know you and would not like to be your murderer. Thanks. And I guess for just like full transparency / interest, here is the part where my translation kind of flubbed things. It says we have combat with her 3 times, and then also attack with Rai and Ryusei to make her able to be convinced. And that just was not the case. And in so doing, that got Rai killed, and then also made both of them retreat. So like something was not right there, and that's like not how I would have done things had that not been what was just told to me. There we go. So like that's why I wanted to redo this, because like that would not have been the actions I would have taken if it was me. Oh, I guess I don't know where this was falling. Our expert points are, if we kill either of them, we lose an expert point. So we are supposed to keep them both alive, because like they're going to be heroes later for sure. So if it was me, I would just not have attacked. I would not have attacked at all, and I probably I probably would have whittled each of them down a little bit to just like see what was going to happen, to see if we had to like force them to retreat but not kill them. But like I was told I could convince her somehow, so like I guess I know I can do that. I just like I feel like that sucks the fun out of it to me. I don't love it. But yeah, so we convince Kuzuha, and I don't think she's going to join us immediately based on how this goes. She describes feeling like a sword was stabbed through her chest, and then she loses consciousness. So I think probably she was like forcefully disconnected from her psychic system. And then reflects on the fact that maybe sending someone who had a like romantic relationship with another person who is psychic onto the battlefield was not the greatest of choices. So there's that. So here was some of my complaints originally about these stories. I've largely been enjoying this story so far, but if you're watching me, you know that I will never like slow roll or shortchange my opinion to make it sound better. I guess first, sorry. Aya is here and she's like, oh, sorry, I couldn't sortie. My unit was still being finished. Is everyone okay? Just like, yeah, we're going to be together after this. I'm going to join Londo Bell. My unit's now operational. Like any future situations like this, you can count on me to be there also. Seeing as she is, after all, like the team leader. So she wants to, behave leader way. But then Ingram comes and like messes just like everything up. So he wants a report. Then after providing it, he is unsurprised that was there, because we knew that he knew from Kobayashi and from Chris. Was it Chris? From the other man. I don't think it was Chris. From the other guy that we talked to like pre-mission. That there was going to be like someone attacking that someone was going to be attacking soon because they had stolen some confidential units, and B, that he wanted to put the team in danger in the reverse order of the names of the people who I listed. That part is fine. He tells everyone that used to be one of his subordinates and that he sort of scrubbed out of the military, probably fled from the military because he learned a secret about something the SRX project was doing. And it worried him, which is like largely what we know, largely what we have inferred or been told by other people. But I'm not surprised that Ingram wouldn't tell the group. That seems accurate. But spending this much time on this thing where it's like we kind of already know this, like let's move it along, is a bit of a grumble. But more importantly, when we give the report, we mentioned that Rai mentions that we knew who the other pilot was, that we thought it was our partner, and Ingram's like, nah, it was probably just someone that we scouted from it was probably just like a civilian that we scouted a while ago. It's probably just a mix-up. Like, what? I don't believe that for a second. That is such an unintegrated and lazy excuse. It's very disappointing. Like, that feels so forced in order to make the plot happen a particular way. And that, I don't know, that feels very sloppy to just be like, no, you were wrong. Just like, pay attention to the mission. Anyway, moving on. We're going to worry about combining your units now. Better get ready to do that. I just, like, how and why are we not, like, making the biggest of fusses possible? Going like, no, I like, psychically bonded with her. I for sure know that. Like, I know that Ingram has authority over us, but I feel like there should be a lot more conflict than just like, oh, okay, guess I was wrong. I don't even know if that's true. We have a, like, kind of sweet moment out of Koji that we've already gone through after that. Because Koji went to school with us and then presumably our partner, he would also maybe have some, like, insight into this and, like, would maybe just be invested because, like, theoretically they were friends too. So we tell Koji what happened both on the battlefield and also what just happened with Ingram. And Koji is more willing to trust you, which, like, good. He's supposed to be our friend, and also, like, you met this person too. So that's a plus, but it's still, like, leading into the narrative that Ingram is selling, because we also go, like, we wanted to talk to Ingram to find out what was going on, and now we're not really sure because he didn't know. It's like, bud, come on. At best, if this man is not evil, he is still willfully deceptive about all the information he gives you. We gotta get you some reading glasses there, Brooklyn. But Koji does try to reaffirm you that, like, yeah, it is possible that people could survive something like that. He and his colleagues have, for sure. And he also knows how Ingram is, and it is quite possible that Ingram is using you and your partner for... my pronouns are all over the place this episode. That Ingram is using you, Ryusei, and her, Kuzuha, for something malicious, and that he was like, he has our back. He is going to look into things. He's going to try and make sure that, one of his friends from school is safe, and that like try to get to the bottom of this, like why Kuzuha's no memories. Before this moment scene cut in, we were in a room with the Ava scientist woman, and it was just another like, we had an idea. Ingram asked me to work on something. Was it Ingram? Kaji and Ingram asked me to work on something. I'm working on it. It's very exhausting. And like that was basically it. And then we wrap up with this final scene where we are getting our route split. So the rest of the group, while the SRX drama is happening, is trying to figure out what we're going to be doing with, was it Israfel? What was the name of the angel? Yeah, Israfel. We have two options. Either we can spend our time until it regenerates in however many days. I remember we talked about like last mission, but I don't remember what it is now. We can spend our time training Shinji and Asuka to sort of coordinate their efforts and get them in sync with each other so they can perform an operation where they're going to destroy each core of the two Israfel halves at the same time, thus like actually permanently killing it. Or, because we don't have to use Ava Cannon, what if we just punch him real hard? Amuro thinks we should go with the two Avas plan. He thinks that Shinji and Asuka are a lot more synced than otherwise appears, which is like pretty significant seeing as he's like one of our larger, like more adult voices of reason in the group. But the like super robots, the super not capital S robots that would be using this, performing this part of the operation, which are listed as the Grungust, the Getter Dragon, the Billvine, and the Psybuster. Like, for sure. I just feel like there's a couple other ones that should be in there, like the Giant Robo or the Don Kugar. Just even internal to the plot of this world. Like, we picked up the Giant Robo and just sort of forgotten about it for any other plot that doesn't involve Big Fire. But like, it's definitionally all tank, all power, all both at the same time. Like, I don't know why it's not included, but that's fine. I am going to choose the two Avas route because we've sort of been committing to Ava stuff. I'm a little bit more interested in that right now anyway. I feel like the brute force answer is just like really boring. I'm curious what we get to keep with this. I wonder if this is instead, seeing as like half of the missions in this game have so far not actually been like quote unquote real missions, they've much more been story missions. I wonder if this is just choosing our deployment all ahead of time. But we'll find that out next mission, which is theoretically going to be this time. My timer says 45 minutes, and I already recorded 20 minutes before this because I had to redo this after the translation was goofed up. So yeah, I guess I need to pause so I can go read the actual story, but I'll see you back here in a few to finish up this mission, or to start. Okay, yes, hi, I'm back. Couple of things. First, good that we were doing this together. Very fitting that we get an Eva unit for the art cut-in. This one also seems pretty short in the same way that the last time we had the like Ava story mission kind of was. I am going to be a little brief through this story, only because it feels very uncomfortably translated. I don't think this is the fault of the translator, which I also will say we are still going to use the same one. I knew that there were other story guides. I did not realize how dire it was. Rundown shopping mall metaphor continues. We might switch over when we get to the point where they picked up, but I think it's on chapter 66, so it's going to be a minute. But I think this moment comes across a lot better in the show, where Shinji and Asuka are asked to live together for 5 days to try and like teach them how to synchronize. And it is largely speaking for the ability of A, just like getting used to each other, but B, they're learning to do a dance in order to like practice the synchronization. But the cast is all like very voyeuristic about it. They're like, I wonder what's going on in that room while they're living there. Ooh, I wonder. Well, we can't go in and ask. Instead, let's send the robot Haro and the fairy Cham to go spy on them. Isn't that titillating? And it just like, it feels very gross. I don't like it. I think Eva is very comfortable with part of its identity being around sex and sexuality, because like it is also very much a story about coming of age, but like specifically coming of age through puberty. So like inherently those questions are going to be involved, but I think it does so in at least a somewhat more mature way, that it doesn't try to make itself excited by those prospects. Instead, I think it does a good job of trying to challenge them. Far be it for me to be the only person on the internet to try and give Ava some praise. I don't think it's as good as people say it is. Let's make that clear. We can talk about it more in specificity at some other point. But here it feels like a lot of those elements that are played seriously in the show to try and say something about like what feeling like a teenager is like are taken as just like flirty, horny teenager rom-com drama in a way that's like very disrespectful to the original media, but also just like hunk and uncomfortable when these kids are like teenagers. It would be weird if we did this to adults, but it's like especially weird where like a lot of these people are, you know, way older and they're like sitting around gawking at these kids, sort of like watching this sex pod that they think is happening. I don't like it. This is great timing though, because this is so they come out of the room to tell everyone that what they're actually trying to do is they're trying to practice a dance to synchronize them with each other. And Asuka is just not very good at it because for a number of reasons, probably most likely is because of her like braggadocious needing to lead all of the time energy. But Rei is able to do it with Shinji perfectly, like phrasing intentional, metaphor present. And one of the large concerns is her inability to be able to be useful and relevant to the situation, which we'll get to a little bit in a second because Shinji's going to go after her. But I also dislike Kaji's framing of this as being very heteronormative. He's like, well, you're a man, so you need to be a big man and go like chase after the girl that you go made cry. Which again, like I think is handled in a show in a way that is more critical of that behavior, in a way where this feels just like, yep, that's the point. That's how it should be. I feel like there's a lot of tragedy to Asuka in the way in which she feels very like utility oriented, both about like her sense of self, but also in like this moment about her body. And Shinji does reinforce that because he understands himself also primarily through the lens of being a tool. And his counter to whether or not she is useful is, well, if we weren't useful, then someone else would have already taken out the angels long before us. So like clearly we're useful because otherwise like who else is going to do it? And like that's not the response, my guy. And like that's the part of the point of his character. But here again, it feels like it is played as the moral in a way that is like messy and complicated and not in a way that I think the game is acknowledging it. I think this is like sort of what happens when you like parrot a lot of media, that because you are like ripping it out of its context, the like more subtle work, like the more subtle character work that's going on is just like not going to be present. And I think that's fine. In other cases, it meant it sorry, I'm like getting worked up. In other cases, it is fine because it just makes the characters seem flat. In this case, because the subject matter is so touchy, I think it just like ends up being like distressing. We conclude with a moment to still further this of Asuka asking Shinji to go shower with her. And Shinji tries to like play it off and see it. He thinks he's seeing it for what it is, which is just Asuka getting away, giving Asuka a justification for like socking him in the face for being the pervy person that she thinks he is. They do not. It is dismissed pretty quickly. But then we still conclude with him going, wow, when she's asleep, she's just a regular girl. And like, no lessons have been learned. No maturing has happened. These characters are still just so troubled and trauma-ridden. But I don't know if the game knows it could have done something to make them like healthy. Maybe we will go somewhere with them that like saves them from themselves like in the show, but I am not holding out my breath. Okay, grumble over. Let's talk about the mission. Our objective is very straightforward. This is why I think this is going to be a very short mission. We need to shoot down both of the halves of Israfel. hold on, where is it? Nope, I scroll down. Our expert points for the mission are shoot down both parts of Israfel within 2 turns, plus 1 expert point. Or plus 2 expert points, shoot down both parts of Israfel within 1 turn. So it's now or never, I suppose. We do need to get them both at the same time. We can't, if we kill one, we have to kill, yeah, we have to kill them both at the same time. If we kill one and don't kill the other, that's a game over. So we're just gonna hard commit and I guess just hope. I don't know what better to do. I did end up going back and giving some extra damage to these, to the Ava weapons to like make sure this was going to happen. I am deeply worried. I'm not sure how to get past this point if we like can't do that. I guess we can break through the AT fields just barely with like a regular attack. Yeah, so like I guess we're gonna end up doing it in 2 turns then, because that did 1100. We have then like 5500 behind us, which we'll get through the field and then do enough to kill it next turn. And then let's see how much this does. Did I already put the Valor on you? Yes, I did. I guess we also just like, this needs to not kill now, otherwise we get a game over. I'm curious how you're supposed to do this. I know this is like, I'm pretty sure this is the part where, I'm pretty sure this is the part in the show where they do the like double hit thing together. I just like don't know how to produce that. If you like step them next to each other, they don't have access to the kick. Okay, half of that, yeah, half of that will be enough. Okay. Yeah. Okay, maybe we can still do this. Let's look at Shinji. Let's look at Shinji quick. We have 9 shots of this. Okay, this is still doable because we could counter kill. Both of these could get counter killed theoretically where their HP pools are at. Oh, shoot. Maybe not. I'm glad the healthier one is going first, though. Yeah, okay, yeah. Like, we commit to this. If this is lethal, then we kill the other one, which is HP it's lower. If it's not, then we hold it. I don't think this is going to be lethal, because we did about... What, we did less than 10,000, which means that this should do about 5,000, which should not kill. So I guess we are going to be stuck doing this in 2 turns. At least we still get an expert point after it, though. Let's see, unless we crit. Yeah, we're just shy. That's frustrating. How are we supposed to do this, then? We've, like, not had... I don't think we've had missions. We just block this, because we could just kill it next turn. We don't want to accident... Like, oh, no, we can't chip it. Because we have to get over 4,000 damage to do damage at all, and that would kill that. So we can't chip it. We can just do this next turn. We've not really had any opportunities to, like, level them up very much. I guess we could have post the Gagiel chapter, I think it was. Yeah, we could have given them some more levels there. I don't know how much of a difference that would have made, though. For people who have played this chapter before, please share your clears. I'm curious. Is the answer just that, like, you did not get the +2? Did you have to do it in 2 turns? But I'm like trying to think what the 1 turn answer is. Like, I put our money into their attacks in preparation, like in anticipation of this. I don't know what more we could have done, other than maybe just like, well, okay, I guess I say that, but we did invest money in 2 other units. Are we just supposed to have saved our money to get this extra expert point? I know we don't need it. Like, there's more expert points. There are more expert points in the game than are necessary to get everything that you get out of having expert points. Like, I think we need like mid-30s or something, and I think you can get like 45. But that's not my point. The point is that the objective is there, which suggests that it could be done, so I want to know how to do it. And I guess the answer is just, yeah, we're supposed to save our money to put more damage into them. Because it's not like we used the Valor, right? removing their AT fields wouldn't have changed anything because it just stops up to, not reduces by. So it's not like we were like missing out on 4K damage on both of those attacks that would have otherwise like finished them off. The level, level 31 is already decently high. Like there's not much difference level wise this would have made. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious what your other people's experiences are. Please tell me why I'm a scrub if there's something obvious that I'm missing. Is it just really that there's like a synchronization that needs to happen? If I knew how to use the synchro meter better, we would have been able to do it really easily. Maybe out of the frying pan into the fire, I suppose, because not moments after we are celebrating, but also a little bit worried about the fact that destroying that angel also altered the coastline again. Giran Zabi gets on the line and calls everyone up to be like, "Hi, we are going to annihilate you in 3 hours unless you hand over the ass." I can't get over the fact that the ship is serious, for all seriousness, called the ASS-1. I know it doesn't mean exactly what it sounds like, but really. Yeah, so Giran, in perfect emulation of Nazi behavior, is fascinated and interested in the most esoteric of technologies and feels like they are the rightful owners to it and could use it to do their own sense of good. And demands the handover of this battleship, lest he starts firing the mass driver into the area. Typically, when I think of mass drivers, they are the thing that can, without rocket propulsion, send a spaceship into space. I think in this case, it's more akin to a kinetic bombardment based on the fact that we see something falling out of the sky at us. So that's how I'm taking it. I think it's a thing from across. I think. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. If you want to, you don't have to do research for me. But in perhaps the most unrealistic thing we've seen so far, Giran does say that he can localize it to a city, and then he drops one within close proximity to us, which is just not how a kinetic driver or a kinetic attack would work. They are wildly inaccurate just because of the nature of physics and airflow and them. They're gonna get moved really, really far off trajectory if it has to go from out of orbit into orbit. But that's fine. It's I understand the theoretic threat. I'm not actually grumpy about that one. It was just really funny to me how much people super overestimate the accuracy of them. You'd need to file down a really, really powerful metal so that doesn't the decreased surface. If you followed it into a cone and threw it from out of orbit in through the atmosphere, it would just burn up on entry unless it was really, really powerful, really, really dense metal. And the cost of that would be throwing an entire nation's GDP into one rocket that way. It's just not cost effective. No one would ever choose to attack that way. Which I'm sure is not the point. I can't help it. That's where my brain goes. But the team down on the ground, I again don't get this. They're well, we can't. Good job. We have Londo Bell with us to take care of this. We can't move them across for another 5 hours until the dedication ceremony happens. I don't remember this, but is it because the dedication ceremony is just also aligning with the time where it's finished being built, or is it we really need to follow procedure here? We can't move it until we have the ribbon cutting ceremony. Then we're allowed to take off, but could perfectly get out of the way right now. In which case, just fully neuter this plan. But no, instead we have two options. We can either shoot down the object, which I feel is very dubious considering we know that Giran and his version of Xeon is very willing to do anything to get anything. If I was in this position, I would be heckin' suspicious that this is well, is there poison in it? Is it going to release bombs? Is there some other consequence of shooting this down? I don't think it's that straightforward or that easy. Or we could use the Ava unit's AT fields and just sort of absorb it, reflect it, and neutralize it by cushioning the blow. I like that plan better. Again, it's still going with the Avas. This sort of gives me a chance to redeem them and see sort of what they're supposed to be, maybe what they're supposed to be doing. But this could also be a bit of a mistake, seeing as they weren't able to compete with the requirements that the game is offering them. But if I can't be right, I'd rather be extra, and I don't know what the right answer is, so we're gonna hard commit and do the same thing over and over again until it works. So with that decision, everyone gets on high alert. They start like trying to move everyone around to get this plan underway. Most especially evacuating civilians. What? I thought this base was secret. I thought everyone that was here was like operating on like high classification military stuff. Do they mean civilians that we have? Because I feel like anyone who used to be a civilian has long since graduated from that title, given all of the things that we know and have killed. These last couple of missions have been, I think, probably the sloppiest writing I've seen out of Super Robot Wars so far. And like not even in a small way, like in a pretty like these have been pretty major. These I think have been pretty major blunders. I'm still not over the just like Brooklyn needs to defend himself and just doesn't for no adequately explained reason. Okay, I don't actually know what the consequences of that choice are. Let's take a look at Akarasu quick to see how long this route split is. I know that there were a couple of route splits coming up in my future from the expert points, but let's get that back open and scroll down a little bit more. And okay, so we're going to be on this route split for a while. It also looks like this did not divide our units. Let's just like confirm that in game. Yeah, we still have 11 pages of units, which is just the amount we had before. So it looks like this is tactics more than the conventional route split where it like takes units to different places, you know? Right, it's not like we went with the Ava side, so we get to keep the Ava units, and then also the Don Cougar, and then also the like the Victory Gundam cast, and then like the Getter and Mazinger and the Wing characters go elsewhere, right? Like it doesn't seem like it's a route split like that. I like this style of route split. I can fully get behind how this game approaches different scenarios, allowing you to sort of like choose your objectives. It seems very good for replayability. Like now, I guess like now knowing that this is how Ava stuff works, I guess I could know that as soon as I get them, I need to be saving money for when I get them, and as soon as I get them, just like dumping money into their attacks. Like that is definitely an option that I now know on a repeat playthrough. And I can also like go back and go, okay, well, I can just make all the different choices that I didn't make, which is normally how route splits work, but it does so in a way where the game still feels familiar. It feels like it's teaching you, it's asking you to refine your skill specifically about what you know rather than like testing you in the fundamentals, where I think a lot of route splits are a lot more the latter. I would be pro seeing more of something like this in the series. I would still like the mission requirements to be way more strict. I can't see any reason why this requirement with Israfel could not also be happening at the same time as we were trying to dodge like mass drivers from Xeon, as we were also doing the like Huckebein Ingram plot too. Like having all three of those happen at the same time and like needing to juggle where each of them was such that they weren't getting in the way of everybody else's plot and like also getting time to like get their own objectives done sounds like a blast. Just the perpetual ask is just give me multiple objectives at once. Can anyone tell me if there are Super Robot Wars games that have me needing to do two things at the same time, please and thank you. I don't know how long this will be. Maybe we are sitting here. I think I've extended this long enough trying to like give you story thoughts. Hopefully this is not going to be like a 20-minute episode. I don't think so at this point. Sorry for just like the weirdness of the production this time. This is also like one of the consequences of going into this not really knowing what's happening. But I think this will probably work out in the wash, and I'm saying this for no reason because you won't notice. Who knows? But that'll be all for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you think of it, get to my question specifically about the +2. What did anyone do to clear that objective? I want to know. But other than that, what you can expect from me in the future, go with thusly. If you're watching this when it comes out, tomorrow is going to be our final playthrough, our final time with the Y DLC. We have literally one mission left. I should have just pushed a little bit harder last stream, but we are here. So we have that we need to deal with. And I am I did figure out some of the accuracy and evasion equations, so we're going to talk about that some. Then we're also going to try to push for what the highest possible damage value could be. I think we're going to be a few points short because of some rounding things we'll talk about then, but I have, I think, mostly a good setup put there. So if you want to come and try and figure that out with me, please feel free to join me on Thursday. Then once we've wrapped that up, then we're going to go on to W to finish up what we've been describing as season 1, finally at long last. I was really hoping the stream was going to be end of season 1, beginning of season 2, but this will leave us on a good cliffhanger for next Sunday. Then Friday is an on week, so we are going to be playing Fantasy Maiden Wars, Not More Alpha. And I think we're also getting close to wrapping that one up. I think, maybe, perhaps. Then Sunday is fully back to W, and then that's just going to be my whole schedule. Sunday is... Or sorry, not Sunday. Monday... Gracious, I need to go to sleep. When I said it's going to be my full schedule, what I mean is Wednesday is then back to full-time on the regular time slots. That is like now the primary thing that's going to be part of my schedule. No more Y after that. Then Monday, we are finishing up with the chapter capstone mission in SD Gundam G Generations Overworld. And then we will figure out just what to do from there and talk through where we want the game to go. And that'll be the next 7 days with me. If you'd like to do something else somewhere in this space to pass the time until another video comes out, go ahead and pop over to my Patreon. No cost required to you. There are my notes for this week's anime book club, so please feel free to share some thoughts there. I would love to read them. We are still in the middle of Huckebein. We're watching episodes 31 through 36 this week. I have also put a community post out to sort of truncate your watch if you are interested in this, but you don't feel like you can get through 36 episodes in a week, which is a bit of an ask. I have given you 3 different options for sort of chopping out as much or as little as you'd like to try and catch up. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that too. But that is everything from me. I will thank you all again so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. We're climbing up. We're climbing up on triple digits. I can't believe you're all still here. But there's even more of you every time I say it, and I'm just so glad for it. I genuinely went skipping through my house the other night when I saw that I hit 75. We've made a good team here, y'all and I think. So thanks for being on the other side of this microphone. It makes it worth it. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your evening. Make meaning of the rest of your day, and I will hopefully catch you in the next one. Goodbye.